welcome to the Polity, reaching you live from the Abuja studios of King Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network, popularly known as KAFTANTV, where we imagine a beautiful world. The Polity is a program that takes a deep dive into unfolding political events within Nigeria and even beyond the shores of the country. My name is Macauley Hunohashi, welcoming our esteemed viewers from around the world for joining us this auspicious afternoon on the Polity. So much is happening within the political firmament in Nigeria, and there is so much to unpack. And today we're going to take a deep dive into the ongoing crisis that has emerged between the sole administrator of Rivers State and the leadership of Nigerian Bar Association. But before we do that, let me introduce my guests who have already joined me in the studio to help us unpack the conversation before we open our telephone lines in the course of the show. On my far right is Segun Ojelade. Segun Ojelade, you are welcome to the Polity.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, viewers, Segun Ojelade, for the benefit of those who don't know him, he's a veteran journalist and a senior producer and political editor of KAFTANTV, as well as a member of the editorial board. Segun, we don't take your presence here for granted.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother.
And the right person that is going to help us lead the unpacking of this conversation is no other person than a legal practitioner, and he is Adekunle Oloanipekun, seated by my right-hand side.
Thank you so much, sir.
Well, like I said, he's a legal, I call him my legal luminary on a journey to become a luminary.
I call him intending son.
Okay. That's right. Like I said, so much is happening within the political space, and we are going legal today. The 2025 Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, will be held in Enugu in the month of August. The conference was originally planned for Port Harcourt, Rivers State, but was relocated to Enugu due to the NBA's stance on the declaration of state of emergency and appointment of a sole administrator by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which they deemed unconstitutional. The conference will be held at the International Conference Center in Enugu. The NBS Annual General Conference is an important event, which the barrister here is going to, give us details, for the legal profession in Nigeria, serving as a platform for networking, knowledge sharing, and discussions of key issues facing the judiciary and the legal profession. Well, this year's conference theme is Stand Out, Stand Tall. It aims to inspire legal professionals to embrace excellence and uphold justice. That's what we heard from them. Well, let's come to the conversation directly. Segun, let him, the question should come directly.
I will watch him. We are going to watch him.
Well, the NBA, Nigerian Bar Association, is an organization, is the parent umbrella organization of all legal practitioners of Nigeria. Well, what is the objective of hosting conference annually, this general conference that you do?
Okay.
What do you stand to gain?
Okay, like you rightly said, the Annual General Conference of Nigerian Bar Association is a yearly event where we have topical issues discussed, where we have different events planned out for the week. It's also a period where we have our annual general meeting. Almost at the end of the conference, we get to host our annual general meeting. So the conference, more like you said, for networking sessions, we have different sections, different forums having their conferences during the conference, having their sessions. Like we have the SBL, we have the Speedel, we have the Young Lawyers Forum, we have the Women's Forum. So like you said, the conference is all encompassing. So we have a lot of activities for that 1 week. So it's actually a fun-filled 1 week.
Fun-filled 1 week.
Well, fun-filled 1 week.
And you are going to have fun.
You're going to have fun.
You are going there for holiday kind of.
Not holiday necessarily, because it's still more like you're working. Because networking, you get to speak to topical issues. We have people come together. We have dignitaries flown around all over the world come to attend the conference. We have delegates from different countries who also come to fraternize with us. So we discuss on topical issues on how to move Nigeria forward, how to keep promoting the rule of law. Where it's a time where we appraise where we are, and also where we need to measure where we are heading to. So that conference gives us that platform where we have to reflect, appraise what we have been doing, and plan ahead for the next year.
This year's theme is very, very apt. Stand out, stand tall. And I was made to understand that it aims at inspiring legal professionals to embrace excellence and uphold justice. Are you worried about this theme? That have you not been standing tall?
We have.
Standing out.
We have actually, but you know, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. President, like we just
Mr. President,
you know, he's someone that loves excellence a lot. You know, I've worked closely with him, and I can tell you for a fact that this conference was deliberate. The team was actually deliberately chosen, and also I don't want to reveal the guests that will be coming, but trust me, they have a lot of, like, the keynote speaker has actually been unveiled, and we have a lot of speakers that will be coming on board to do justice to this team. So it's a deliberate team.
Stand firm and stand tall.
Stand out.
Stand out and stand tall. That's what they say about lawyers, that they like to feel proud and you know that we're not like you.
Do you know that Segun, they refer to us as educated?
Yes.
They refer to themselves as
learned. Is it part of trying to tell the rest of us that
no, but it's just
we are not part of
it's just
we are learners, we are educated.
Learned, absolutely.
Well, like I said, so much to unpack from this conversation. Let's go straight to really what we want to talk about. Now, it was planned, like I said in the intro, the venue was supposed to be in Rivers State, Port Harcourt to be precise, and there was a change of plan as a result of their disagreement with what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did, you know, by declaring state of emergency in Rivers State. And after receiving 300 million naira from the suspended governor, who has, you know, he was expected to come back in the next 5 months, anyway, since it's just suspension. And now they are packing your baggages to Enugu. Is it
after collecting 300 million?
So a lot have been said. We've seen a lot of views, opinion, and you know, I'm just going to go straight into it. Like the first notion we should correct is that money given was never a hosting right, because for you to actually, you know, host or go for a hosting right, there must have been procedures. For instance, let's say lobbying, you know, bidding and all of that. None of that was done. In fact, I recall during the inauguration of this president, in August 2024, somewhere in VI in Lagos during the conference. So the inauguration came just immediately after the conference. I was in that hall when Mr. President announced Rivers State, that Rivers State will be the host. That's just him for you. That was, in fact, that was the first announcement he made when he was sworn in officially. So as at then, he doesn't even know, you know, anything about Rivers State money at all. So from the conversation, right, or from even what the NBA has actually posted, if you check that, the chairman of the committee, Chief Emeka Obegolu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has said that there was never anything like hosting rights. In fact, the money that was given as a gift, with no condition attached. And even the money was given this year, not even last year. What is it?
It wasn't a Greek gift.
No. So for me, right, if there was a condition attached to it, that okay, if Rivers State is going to be hosting, then we are giving you this money. It's a different ball game. What was given was a support, just like NBA has written to different corporations, organizations to support the conference, because the conference is the largest gathering of lawyers in Africa. That's even if I'm being modest, not to say in the world. So,
but what is wrong in saying? What is wrong in saying you have given us this much?
Okay.
You know, part of the reasons why, or the benefits of hosting this event in Rivers State is the consequential, you know, mutually beneficent.
Oh, okay. So like people,
why can't you just say, okay, take your money, since we are not even hosting the event?
So it is not that direct. Let me put it that way, for two reasons. First, you know, like you rightly said when you were introducing, there was a legitimate government. And NBI is saying that we don't have a legitimate government in Rivers State, because if you look at the build-up to declaration of emergency, the constitutional provision was not met. You know, the constitution says you have a 2/3 of the Senate. All you have was a voice vote. You know, so NBA is standing on its principle, and I will not be shocked that if Ubara comes today, by next year conference, the president that I know can say that okay, Rivers State, come and host us back. Do you understand? So it's just a matter of principle. And again, the second part is this money was given not directly to, you know, as like the people have been saying, it is not actually for as hosting rights. It was actually given in sponsorship. For instance, maybe conference materials, which I believe the committee has even, you know, started. They started procurement actually. So this money has been expended. That is the aside. That is an aside. Last year the conference was held, you know, but there was no conference material. A lot of people went on air. How can you hold the conference of this magnitude?
We know the story behind that.
So that was one of the reasons why this president and the committee have taken that initiative to say, no, if we have to, you know, make it up to lawyers, let's make this procurement as early as possible. So they wrote letters to organizations, even private individuals, for sponsorship. And it will interest you to know that it is not only Rivers State that has supported the NBA. The NBA conference is hosting at least 15,000 lawyers.
You know what some of us are saying is that when NBA wrote the River State government, like you did to so many other state governors and organizations, like you said, you told them you are hosting this conference in River State.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you asked the River State government to support what you are doing.
Absolutely.
And the River State government said, okay, thank you. Since we are the ones hosting you, take this money.
Yes.
And NBA got this money and now looked at the situation in River State and said, sorry, we are not going to host this conference here. We are going to Enugu. So you collected River State money, and you now discover that what is happening in Enugu on because of principle, your principle stance, you can't go there and host your conference. You now ditch River State with their money, and you go to Enugu State. Why can't the same principle that you have apply to you by saying, no, what is happening in River State is an aberration. Take your money, we are going somewhere else.
So I didn't actually want to go into, you know, some of these intricacies. Just like you rightly said when you started. Now you are now ended. With due respect, sir, that's why we call us, you know, learned because we actually appraise issues logically without emotion. I have seen a lot of emotional comment out there because we are not doing. So if you look at it principally, the same person that is requesting the money, is it the donor of the gift? And what we are saying that MBI said this is an irrevocable.
The gift was it was done on behalf of the state government.
No, so
and the people of River State.
So now that is
today is the #1 citizen of River State.
So that is what you are hearing. That's what you are hearing, right? But was it the one that donated it?
He wasn't the one.
So can you even tell?
Government
can you even tell? That's what I'm saying. But
is it child of River State?
No, they did tell you that the money was taken from River Post. I don't want to go there, but it's actually debatable. But let me now streamline myself.
Is it personal money?
No, it could have been. No, it could have been. And this is what it could have been.
The letter must have followed that money.
So funnily, the president and or the committee do not even talk to the governor directly. It is the attorney general of the state, or even most states that run, because they are the chief legal officers. Those are the people that actually, you know, work on those sponsorship for the NBA. The NBA don't have to have personal relationship with, you know, and all of that. In fact, was it last year that Wiki, when he was a governor, was it last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
He sponsored Lagos State. Why can't they people now say, okay, yeah, River State people now say, Lagos, give us our 300 million. Do you understand? So what I'm trying to say now here is that money was given to support a conference. Do you understand? Regardless of being tied
where
to
is
that, I'm coming there because it is not an hosting right. That's what I'm saying. If you recall, I said the announcement for River, the choice of River was announced way before, in August 2024. The money that was given allegedly was given, I think, January or February this year. Do you understand? So way before. So if you are now saying that, okay, we are no longer doing this conference here, give us the money. The two issues that arise is that is the person that gave the money, we are even saying the person is not a legitimate person in the first place. Do you understand? If we even give, let's even say NBA wants to close his eyes, we say, okay, we are giving you back this money. We are even scared of how the money will be spent. We don't know if the money will be accounted for. Well, again, like I said, this is a gift. The money has been expended for what it was. In the letter, which I'm sure of, was that, okay, we need, these are some of the programs or some of the things needed for this conference. Mr. Governor, you know, how can you help? I believe that 300 million must have been given to say, okay, if it is for the conference, but okay, I want to donate this to support. If it is for the building of the conference village, this is how much I want to support. So we really do not have, do you know that the details? So I'm saying that we cannot, the NBA cannot just say now that they want to return the money because they are not.
Sorry. I want him as a lawyer.
Yes.
You are the lawyer.
Yes.
You guys are the learned. We only read books.
We are educated.
Now, can you tell us what does the law say about gifts? Now, I gave you a barrel, for instance.
Yes.
Because if I put my barrel here,
yes,
and there is a movement from here to this place,
yes,
and you cause the movement,
yes,
you have stolen my barrel, have you?
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to be in your pocket.
Yeah, definitely.
But a gift.
Yes.
I gave you this barrel,
yes,
or this 300 million.
Yes.
And now we are no longer in talking terms anymore.
Yes.
We now have a problem between us.
Yes.
Can I ask back my gift?
Absolutely not. The law is straightforward on that. Okay. Any gift that is given without any condition, without fraud, without misrepresentation, is valid in law.
So, aside the legal implication,
yes,
similarly, Fubara, the former governor, or rather the
suspended governor,
I gave that 300 million naira, I believe, on the platform of moral rectitude. On the same moral rectitude, can't NBA say, well, since we are not hosting, you are not hosting this conference, take your money, take back your money, not on legal grounds now, on moral
like I said, I made mention of it earlier. I said tomorrow now, if Governor Fubara gets back to office, the president that I know, the NBA that I know, can say next year conference will be in Port Harcourt. So what do you have to say as at then? Do you understand? So for me, right, the money is really not the issue with the NBA president. Do you understand? It's just the fact that there was an agreement. In fact, do you know that how will you, just like me, so Mr. Segun giving me a gift now, maybe because we have a fallout, you now go to the back and or maybe I now take the money, I paid it to him. How will you feel? Because now if NBA that Fubara gave money is not given to sole administrator, how do you think Fubara should feel? Are you saying that are you questioning his action as the executive governor of Rivers State? Let's look at it that way too. But you look at it that way too. Fubara taking an executive action,
yes,
and an administrator, yes, questioning his executive action.
Return the money back to Rivers State. That's what I am even saying, that the NBA principle,
yes,
will not allow you to host the conference in Rivers State
in the interim.
But this, your principle,
yes, allows
you to keep the money given to you by this state that you don't want to have anything to do with again. Why not return the money?
Like I
if
said,
you have principle not to come and host your conference, that your principle should return the money that you took from them.
Like I said, and we talked
that is if the trap does not catch the rat, the bait that is there, you shouldn't eat the bait. That's what we're saying.
Like I said, and as I said earlier, this is more of an emotional argument. I have given a logical reasoning, logical explanation. Do you understand? So, in as much as yes, we can be emotional about issues, but at times you have to just separate the sheep from the shaft and let's look at the issues holistically. Do you understand? I've given you scenarios why the NBA cannot, in good faith, or I will not even suggest they return the money, because it was given in good faith. And I've said that in the interim, the NBA cannot close its eyes to the illegality in Rivers State. When the time comes, you can always host it. Can you tell us the kind of benefit? You have witnessed several conferences of the NBA. Absolutely. Can you tell us the benefits that usually accrue to a state that is hosting? Okay, so typically economy. Let's just switch to economy, because when you come, you are hosting over 10,000 delegates. Your hotels are fully booked. Your transportation is booming. Your transportation business is booming. Your traders are coming to the conference venue to come and sell their wares and all of that. So even airports flying in, people flying into the state and all of that. So economically it's going to affect the state. They will the IGR at least shoot up for that month. They know that yes, something is coming into the state. So that's one of the benefits. So do you agree that Rivers State will be shortchanged? After taking their 300 million. After taking their 300 million, they are not going to benefit from the conference. Closing space for them. Like I said, if the government, like the president has said, once Fubara gets back to office. There's nothing stopping NBA to. In 2021, we had the conference in Port Harcourt.
And they will dole out some funds again.
No, in 2021 we had a conference in Port Harcourt.
Yes.
Wike was
the...
It was all fun. And again, let me not forget to say that all of this is political. We know how it is. We all know that it's political tantrum. We know where it is coming from. But again, let's be logical. Let's separate issues from the place of emotions to logic. Let's look at it holistically. I are saying that we are not closing the gap that Rivers State will be, precluded from hosting the conference.
Now, by your action, by your decision to move the conference, don't you think the NBA is taking sides?
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay, let me explain. So the decision was not taken by the president himself. It was a decision of the NEC. NEC is the strongest or the biggest or highest decision making body of the NBA. So the NEC met and they reviewed. In fact, there was an election either to stay in Port Harcourt or to relocate the conference. The voting margin was less than 10. It was keenly debated and argued. And majority said no, we have to move out of Port Harcourt because staying back in Port Harcourt is endorsing illegitimacy, because the logo of our motto as a body is promoting the rule of law. How can we be promoting the rule of law when if you stay back in Port Harcourt, we'll be endorsing the sole administrator, because by August they will still be there.
See, that is one area that I probably have problem with the law or the rule of law.
Okay.
Maybe that's why I say the law is an ass.
Absolutely.
Look at this situation. The reason why Fubara had to be suspended, when the ordinary man heard it, I'm sure when you heard it, that Nigeria's mainstay the mainstay of Nigeria's economy was under threat, and we were hearing the sounds of bombs, and there is an illegality. I'm quoting the federal government now. Those were the things that gave birth to what we have in Rivers State now. We heard that somebody, a sitting governor, touched the state assembly. And you talk about rule of law, when the action to ensure that we don't have further degradation of peace and we don't endanger life, when the action was not taken, the NBA now suddenly remembered the rule of law that was under threat at the initial stage. How do we address that? Okay. Because what was happening that time was the topic of anarchy. Where was the NBA when the assembly was dismantled? Where was the NBA when Fubara was ruling that state, spending government money? Probably the decision to give NBA 300 million naira was taken by 3 members of the House of Assembly. Now you got the money, you now felt, okay, the rule of law has been breached, let's leave this place. I mean, look at that.
Okay, let me quickly respond to that. Thank you so much for this view. I think as much as I don't want to go into the genesis of this crisis, so I may just touch a bit of it. Now, I don't know if you have read the decision about the issues between the State Assembly and absolutely the Supreme Court has ruled. And you also recall as a journalist, which I believe you are aware, that the governor wrote to Right Honorable Macauley, what's his name again? The honorables calling for settlement. He wrote letters, he wrote meetings. Was any of those letters attended to? That is an aside. Now, what the NBA stands for, like I said, is promoting the rule of law.
You can't win that.
The law is that.
You can't win this.
I'm not here to win. I'm just here to explain and tell you what the law is.
Okay.
The law is, if the law says that if there is a way, if the Constitution or any other law have expanded a way, or especially stated a way whereby an action should be done, that same way and no other way should be followed. Now, did the president follow it? We are not against declaring state of emergency. I just want you to know. The NBA president has not said you cannot declare. No, there is constitutional provision. He has said yes, you can. However, you have to follow the law to the letter. That is what we are saying. We are saying that the president even if it's an imminent fear that okay, there's going to be danger, there's going to be bomb, which in any event we all know is political. Like some people said it's the other faction that even started the whole thing. They just wanted to implicate the governor, which we all saw the federal government's position and body language to the whole issue at hand. Now let's go back to it. So after the Supreme Court has given decision, they were okay. Just like you said, maybe there was an imminent fear, they want to blow up and all of that. The Constitution has provided a leeway on how to declare a state of emergency. You will agree with me that, except you also don't want, you are shying away from the truth, that provision was not complied with. There was no resolution both at the House of Rep and at the Senate of to thought. You cannot even see the voting pattern of legislators, which is not meant to be. The Supreme Court condemned what happened in Jaws in 2005. I think 2005 or 2004, if you recall. It said no.
2004.
It cannot be done.
Yeah.
It cannot be done. So why is the federal government going, all out to say it has to be? That is what the NBA is frowning at. That no, if you want to suspend the governor, which is even unconstitutional, you cannot suspend an elected governor. But if you are saying that you want to declare a state of, just like, let me recall, in Borno 24, why didn't Jonathan suspend the governor in I think, was it not what's his name, this senator Alimodu that was the governor then? Why didn't Jonathan suspend him? You can't. You don't have the powers.
It's a different thing.
It doesn't not bother on security.
No, it was the governor that called them.
Okay, let's even now leave that. Are you arguing now that the president can lawfully suspend an elected governor? Let me ask you, so I'm showing you the question, sir.
I'm not a lawyer.
You're a journalist, political journalist. So can they? No, I'm sure by your wealth of experience, you cannot agree with me that the president cannot suspend the governor. That is one. Two, the constitution says that you have to get the House of Representatives and the Senate to give a two-third. Was he complied with? Absolutely no. The answer is no. So you cannot say the NBA should now fund. That's where we came in. We don't have anything. NBA does not have any issue with the governor and state of assembly they are fighting. No, that is not our deal. But when you now start going unlawful, you are trampling on our constitution. That is where we come out. We are like a watchdog, a pressure group. We are a watchdog to preserve the constitution. We are solely. You cannot tap out our constitution. So that is where the federal government, issue started.
Anyway, Macauley, over to you. These people have made up their mind, and I've read their books very well to ensure that this 300 million naira is not going to be. So
how much is 300 million? We will refund it, but not to this administrator.
Okay,
I can tell you for it.
Okay. Well, at this juncture, the River State government has threatened court action to demand the refund of its 300 million naira from the Nigerian Bar Association. That is what we are going to be talking about after this short break. Please don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTANTV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple:
to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Yeah, it's the Polity and is reaching you live from the Abuja studios of King Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network, popularly known as KAFTANTV. I remain yours truly, Macauley Hunohashi. With me in the studio, Segun Ojelade, and senior KAFTANTV political editor and presenter, as well as a lawyer, a legal practitioner, Adekunle Oloanipekun, doing justice to the topic, Rivers crisis, against the backdrop of the 300 million naira that was donated by the suspended governor of Rivers State, Siminala Fubara, not as a hosting right, but as the donation, as they continue to say, and which they felt the government, the present administration, imposed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a result of the declaration of state of emergency is unconstitutional, and they decided to move. The leadership of the NBF decided to move the hosting of the conference from Port Harcourt, Rivers State to Enugu, and there is a backlash. The administrator is demanding for the refund of the 300 million naira. Barrister Oloanipekun, the governor, the administrator is threatening legal action, to compel the NBA, the leadership of the NBL, to refund the 300 million naira. He's going to sue lawyers. What do you make of it?
I really don't.
Why are you giggling?
Yes. So the truth is, I wouldn't say it shouldn't go. It should go to court and let's
seek redress.
And let's see how the court will actually determine the issue.
I want
to add to our jurisprudence.
No, I want to let you know that there will be documents that will be tendered. Letters will fly.
Definitely.
So I think if the NBA knows that there are some correspondence that can implicate them, which they have not made the public to be aware of, I think maybe they should rethink about sending back.
Segun, whoever is working with this administrator, as a lawyer, are members of the NBA.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
I don't think there's anything threatening.
Do you see them encouraging him to, take legal action against their own umbrella organization?
No, it's all about interest anyway.
It's all about interest.
Because the people that will be going to court to collect their professional
their money.
Do you understand? So it's also a way to waste money, technically. So like I said, he has the right to go to court. We are not the court that would determine. We also put up our defenses. I'm sure there are letters NBA wrote to
yes,
just like they wrote to every other corporations, firms, and I'm sure if your station was also, they would have written to you for maybe media support or sponsorship and all of that. So I really do not think there's anything unlawful or illegal that NBA has done in actually seeking sponsorship or support from the Rivers State legitimate governments.
Are you
could you hold our thoughts there?
Yes.
Let's open our telephone line so that our vibrant callers can begin to call in to make the program interactive, engaging, as well as conversational. KAFTANTV, so the need for Nigerians to have a platform where they can cross-fertilize ideas, always calling to verbalize their thoughts with regards to government programs and projects, as well as unfolding political events where we can hear from them, guided by the Constitution to have freedom of speech and expression. And that is why KAFTANTV and its management deemed it fit to float this program. Please do call in. Let's hear from you. Segun, continue on your line of thoughts.
Now, are you not afraid that probably there could be some underhand dealings, which going to courts can expose? Maybe you are talking about letters now. Maybe there may have been some things known to those at the helm of affairs in Rivers State now that probably is not known to some of us. Don't you think the NBA should seek?
As for my training, actually, if I'm going to answer you, this is more like a speculation, and I'm trained not to dwell on speculation, conjectures and all of that. I deal with evidences. Like, let me see the file, let me see the case file, then we can advise. So I wouldn't want to give an opinion on speculations. So when we get to the bridge, we'll definitely cross it. And I'm sure as seasoned journalists like you, and once the case gets to court, I'm sure you will see the processes, you will see the letters they want to rely on, and all of those documents. Like I said earlier, this is more like a political tantrum. There's nothing.
I know that NBA as an organization will feel very, very elated collecting, humongous amount of money to organize their events. Does it worry you as a member of the NBA that government can just wake up in the morning, a governor can unilaterally decide to just dole out huge sums of money that belongs to the people? Does it worry you? So it worries me.
Okay, that like I said, is contextually. So if you put it into context, right, we may share different opinions.
Okay.
Do you understand? Like I said, I recall I said earlier to that. You really do not know. So a lot of people have concluded that
it could be personal.
This is it could be another source entirely. It could be a prominent person in Rivers State. I just like, okay, Mr. Governor, don't worry, I saw
it could be.
It could be.
That's hypothetical.
But it has not been shown. There are no documents to show that this money moved from River State government. It's debatable. Well, everybody has gone to town with the fact that it's emanated from River State.
That's why the administrator is heading to the courts.
Yes. When you get to the courts, we get to know
it's people's money.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when we get to the court, we'll get there. And again, I don't know if I should quickly say this on air.
Quickly say.
People have been saying that, what do NBA need 300 million naira for? Trust me, to host a MBA conference.
First class tickets of a resource person will go to that.
Let's not even go there. People say that lawyers pay practicing fee. Dead and alive, we are less than 200,000 lawyers in Nigeria. Dead and alive, so far that have been called to Nigerian bar. People that are in active practice that pay their dues, they are less than 30,000, or let's even say 50,000. How much is their dues? Calculate it. When they pay their dues, they don't pay to the NBA. That is one thing people do not know. You pay to the Supreme Court. Okay. Supreme Court takes its percentage, send the rest back to the NBA. NBA send a percentage to the body of benchers.
Okay.
Body of benchers has its own take. Then you now have the branches, because we have NBA in different branches. So branches now has at least 10% or thereabout of all the money paid by their branch members. So tell me, how much is left for NBA to run the organization? People say they pay conference fee. How much is the conference fee? How many people pay for conference fee? Do you understand? So now going back, because I've been opportune to at least see how conferences have been held, organized. To build a conference village takes money. Macauley, you get media guys, a lot, feeding of over 10,000 lawyers for a week. Can 300 even feed 300 million? Can it feed 10,000 lawyers for a week? Settle some of these bills, some of building, from scratch, conference village and all of that. So it's a lot more.
Oloanipekun. I know you lawyers will always you like to pontificate, and since you are learned, you want to advise everybody as to how to run their life, run their shows. Now MBA, you now want to host your conference, and you now discover that our plans are too big for us to carry. You now begin to go around everybody to ask for donation. Can the NBA cut its coat according to its cloth? Now you now have an embarrassing situation. None of us knew that River State government gave NBA 300 million naira until there is a problem. It has now come into the open. And is it not an embarrassment to the NBA that the thing is now in the public domain and people are now saying return their money?
Like I said, it is not an embarrassing situation. It is just a political tantrum. River State will not be the first to support NBA. Last year we were in Lagos State. I don't know how much Lagos supported with, but I know Lagos State must have at least supported. Because, if you look at the souvenir we were given in Lagos State, it was Lagos State that produced it. That gave us the jotter, pen, and even tags and all of that. So government, the host government, they just feel they are responsible for these thousands of people coming into our city. They want to take responsibility. Fubara just took responsibility as a governor, as a very responsible governor, to have initiated that, okay, NBA, take this in preparation for, you know, we hosting you. So for me, there's nothing embarrassing there. Absolutely nothing. It's just a responsible governor that wants to welcome the prestigious bar in Africa. To say, okay, I'm accommodating. It's an honor for him that, you know, he's hosting a group of people called lawyers, the NBA. Do you know how many states want to host us? So for me, I just feel like, you know, it's just, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. And like you said, maybe cut your coat according to yourself.
Yes.
We are big. I'm being modest now. You know, I'm not trying to feel pompous, but NBA is a big association. I'm not sure there's any association in Nigeria that can boast of our population.
Don't say that.
Well, like I stand to be corrected, I'm not sure there is any that can boast of our population and impact in the society.
Nance.
I wanted to respond to this question before any of our caller, you know, join us. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has reminded Rivers State Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete-Abbas, you know, that by the provisions of the 1999 Constitution, he must report to the National Assembly, you know, concerning everything that, you know, that is going on in running the affairs of the state. Okay. You know, how do you react to that? Is it?
That's the law. But the question is, as the administrator reported any, he made some appointments recently. Who empowered him to make those appointments? By section 11 of the Constitution, I think they were about, you know, even for, it's the National Assembly that should even take over the legislative function of River State. But this man has been, the administrator has been the sole person running the whole affair, making appointments, you know, dismissing people and all of that. And you can tell with the caliber of appointment he made recently too, like, we don't even know what is happening in this republic. Like, I'm in support of the position of the Honorable Speaker. You should report. You should give them, that is what a state of emergency is all about. You know, let the federal come around and see. There will be debate on the floor of the House. People will give their opinion. Okay, this is how it should be done. This is how it should be done. Bring the motion, bring a form of motion, debate. Let them debate. Then they will assist him in governing the state better. If he so desires to, you know, to implement or execute some of these powers, he should go back to his state and contest as a governor now. Do you understand? He should, if he really wants to act as a governor. But I think he should be reminded that his powers are limited as a sole administrator.
Okay.
Which is what they are not telling him.
Okay. We are being joined by Hamza. Hamza is joining us from Mina, a contiguous state to the FCT. Please go ahead, Hamza.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hamza.
Yeah, let me be quickly.
Go ahead.
I hold the view that the 300 million is a gift by the people of Rivers State.
Okay.
Therefore, any person that is being forced into these people cannot ask for that money back to the people of Rivers State that gave out this money.
Okay.
So somebody who just been enforced on the people cannot second for anything. But my hope is the NBA should please justify this gift. I learned they are enforced. They must win their case to justify this money. Because we are really looking up to them to see that an elected governor is returned back to his seat. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamza. You've heard him. He's in tandem with what your position is.
You know, that is what a reasonable man should actually, you know, do. That we shouldn't, because of emotion, now close our eyes to the injustice that's going in River State. And me, I personally hold the opinion, like I said earlier, returning that money to this administrator is really legitimizing him or even recognizing him.
Legitimizing.
The NBA frowns at the declaration of state of emergency. You know, but we all remembered what was going on in Rivers at that time when we were hearing what Nigerians call bass boost before the declaration.
Because I'm trying to understand, because a lot of people said insecure. There was nothing like that. It was even
you continue on that line of thought. There was nothing like insecurity. We're being joined by another caller. Please go ahead. Your name and where you come from?
I am Nasir Yusuf calling from Abuja.
Okay, Nasir Yusuf, please could you turn down the volume of your TV and then go ahead?
Okay. What I want to understand is that this money that was given to the NBA, is it given to them as a gift, or what?
They
Because
said
if
it's a gift.
you give me money, you sitting down there now, if you give me money as a gift, after 5 days, one other person will just come and say, bring the money. How do you look at it? I don't know.
It sounds funny.
Money. No, that is why I ask you. You that you are sitting down there now. You give me money. You give me 2,000 naira. After 5 days, one Mr. Sani came to me and said, give me that 2,000 naira that is given to you, just because they are lawyers. They want to tarnish their image and said, lawyers are collecting money. So that they are lawyers, are they not human beings? Are they not Nigerians? Are they not entitled to receive gifts? If the government feel like, okay, I want to work with those people, let me give them something to at least appreciate them. Then somebody will come as an administrator and feel he have all the power in the world. He can, I even learned he invited the government for questioning. We should tell ourselves the truth now. State of emergency doesn't mean the sole administrator have all the power in the world to control the state. He must report, and just that lawyer that is sitting down there, you said, he must report to the National Assembly for guidance. I don't know. When we are Nigerians, we are all folding our arms and watching what is going to unfold as time goes on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nasiru. Thank you very much, Nasiru. Yusuf from Abuja. You heard him. He's also speaking in tandem.
Like I told you, it is a gift. And I quoted a senior earlier. You gave me money, and probably, maybe an issue happened, then he is coming to say the money that Mr. Segun gave you, is not hard enough. It's really not hard enough. Like I said, it's a gift that was given with no condition attached. Unconditional. We have given you this money because you are coming to Rivers for your conference. Take this and support your planning. That's all.
I've heard many people accuse the governor of, working for the interests of someone, some interested party.
The administrator.
The administrator, working for an interested party rather than working for the people of Riverside. I don't want to believe that, but I've heard so many people say so.
He doesn't like to respond to speculation.
Absolutely.
So what you are going to say?
Absolutely. Because we've all been hearing, right, that there is a certain minister who is interested in, the funds and all of the activities going on, who perhaps sponsored the suspended governor and all of that. So, but like we all have been saying, is about interest. It has always been about interest. Could the president have been more neutral? Absolutely. Could the National Assembly have been more neutral? Absolutely. But is that what we have? The question is all for you to answer.
It's all about interest.
It's all about interest, absolutely.
The question is for you to answer.
No, I've answered it now. I've just answered it now. I said yes, they are interest. Okay. We can't close our eyes to the issue.
Let's take another caller. We may hear a divergent view. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Jethro calling from Lagos.
Jethro from Lagos, please go ahead with your opinion.
I just want to have my opinion about this 300 million naira gifts or whatever name they call it to get the. It's a highly shameful, it's highly embarrassed understand, to this crop of MBA and the president that we have now. Even the Akabashon will be in his grave, be turning. Akeredolu will look up and say, this is not the MPA that we had. It's a shameful. This is the same governor that is doing, what can I call it? Even the Supreme Court said it's an illegal government that this Tubara was running without state House of Assembly. How can you call that a democracy? And MPA that's supposed to correct him went there to collect 300 million naira of River State people that is not appropriated for. We should no. We are going to a place, you understand? I think that maybe there is we normally criticize the people that we don't like, you understand? And the one that we feel about that maybe this one, you understand, we like his face or that is exactly what NBA is doing. Do you get what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
How I can listen to the lawyer in the house there saying, how do we know that the money come from River State? How much is the salary of the governor? That we dash people 300 million naira. I know that is true. That at least this country, the way we are running it, is not supposed the way it should go. It's not that maybe I'm not in support of the sole administration there. But if the money is not taken out, you know, from the copper of a river state, I believe that the sole administration wouldn't have seen it there. The money was documented. That's why I saw it. And how do we know that even the leadership of the NBA even disclose all the amount to the people, to the member? They can give them 300 million naira. We tell the member that they collect 100 million naira. Let them go to court. We see that a lot of things will be reviewed. That's my point. But this NBA, in fact, they are the impact. They are the most impact. In fact, just thank you.
Thank you. John is angry.
If I can quickly respond.
Because you know you alluded to the
I said it. Yes, I said it. That the money was not appropriated for or appropriated for by 3 members of the state assembly. I said it.
Okay. That is an act of illegality.
Let me just quickly
respond.
So are you saying that? Let me just also ask you a question. All the contracts that have been awarded in that space of 1 year, are you saying, okay, well, why is the administrator not calling for the revocation of those contracts?
You can never tell.
No, he's not on air now. Let's have this basic understanding that this whole thing is political, right? Then let's now go. You said that this money was not appropriated for. Let's even throw that line. So every of the contract that has been, every of the salaries that have been paid, every other thing, why not call them back and say, okay, no, we are not paying this salary, we are not executing this contract, we are not doing none of that? But none of that has been done. And also, let me just to correct the impression this man is trying to create that
so true.
the days of Akeredolu, late Akeredolu, Agbashon, they had conferences. He should, what I would have expected, you know, like I said, is, with all due respect, I'm not sure he's a lawyer, you know, get your facts right. Even days when Akeredolu was the president of the bar, they had conferences, not sponsored alone by the NBA. They call for sponsorship. It is not peculiar to even NBA alone. When you have conference of this magnitude, you write out to, for sponsorship for, you know, different organizations, different corporations.
When media organizations organize awards nights and colloquium, you know, they call out for sponsorship.
Exactly.
They visit corporate organizations.
That is done. So I'm talking that was what I said. It is something. It is a normal thing that is done. But this one now has brought a measure of embarrassment to the NBA because it is now in the open.
Let me even tell you, all the money they are talking about, everything will be disclosed. Will be discussed at the AGM. In fact, there is a proper report on the funding that the committee, you know, there's a planning committee for the conference, AGCPC, headed by Chief Emeka Obegolu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. You know, they have proper documentation of the inflows and outflow. In fact, they cannot, you know, give out any money without proper memo going in for it. So when the time comes, for last year now, if this person wants to know, just write to the NBA that you need a record of how money was spent at the last NBA. They will give it to you at the last NBA conference. They will give it to you. Everything is there at the secretariat.
Well, anyway, what we are saying is that I said it earlier. NBA has principle to say you are the rule of law is being breached.
Yes.
In River State.
Yes.
That is why we're shifting our conference to Enugu.
Absolutely.
But when the rule of law was being breached in financial allocation, you know, financial appropriation, NBA did not activate its principle. We collected the money appropriated for by an assembly that is not properly instituted. You took money from a governor. The Supreme Court said is what did the Supreme Court call Fubara?
Maybe you should tell me, sir. Maybe you should tell me.
No, he said there was no government in River State.
No, that's not what this.
No, he said that there was no government in River State.
Exactly.
Because the 3 tripod were not in place. Yes, we have the executive, we have the judiciary, but the assembly was not in place. He says there was no government in River State, and then the NBA collected money from River State. Now they are saying that you should return the money. You said it was a gift. By who?
By the executive governor of Rivers State. Better answers it. And like I told you, we have argued this earlier, dispassionately. I have told you logically, and I even gave a scenario, which one of the callers has also alluded to that. Somebody gave you a gift, another person is coming to say, no, I'm not giving you the gift again. Do you understand? So I want us to separate the issues. There's a place of, let's say you are trying to say, okay, on principle, right? And that's even if we do that, if you are even trying to concede that we want to go by principle, we cannot return this money to this person. Doing that will legitimize his own illegitimacy. We cannot stamp illegitimacy by that. And also the executive governor, the person that the people voted for took a decision that he knows at that time was going to be beneficial to the people of Rivers State, not knowing that your president, and his people will, turn the constitution upside down and declare a state of emergency. It's force majeure. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, like I said, I trust Mr. President. If it doesn't happen next year, it can happen the year before, the year after rather. Port Harcourt, Rivers State, we still host, the NBA annual conference.
At that time, you will be in the leadership position.
Maybe you are the one that will be in charge.
I can tell you for a fee that it will happen.
It will happen.
It will happen.
Okay, let me ask you: Are you worried about the image of the judiciary in Nigeria? I'm asking the question against the backdrop of so many things that that have happened that you are aware of: conflicting court orders, lack of respect for, and then the way and manner lawyers prompt people to go to court for pecuniary considerations. The case in point out of Fubara, he went all the way to Supreme Court, and many people believe that the lawyers are aware of the end result. They know, but they will still push you because monies will exchange. That we have alluded to the same issue earlier on when you were talking.
Okay, so based on that, while I do not like to condemn the judiciary, just like
certainly you can't condemn your own constitution.
No. So that doesn't.
We don't expect
that's a major constituency.
We know you will not.
Don't be too sure. Some of us are not comfortable with some of the decisions, but at the end of the day, you look at it and we go again, we try again, and again, like this current president, Mazi Alpha Mosigwe, has actually been very proactive, very, very proactive. There are a lot of petitions that people have been writing that he has been following up. We have our own disciplinary committee. A lot of people have been sent to the disciplinary committee, trust me. If you read the law report from last year to this year, there are some of the directions that have been given. There are a lot of lawyers that their licenses have been withdrawn, some have been suspended. So I think it's no longer business as usual. At least I can speak for a fact that this administration has been up and doing. So that he has also, in most occasions, addressed some of these issues. And there are also, should I say, there are some steps that the current executive has been taking to mitigate this, to redeem the image of the bar and the judiciary. It's quite unfortunate what we hear outside or what we see outside at times. But some of those things too are actually not proven. Some of them are allegations that, okay, some people, they are allegations. Because at the end of the day, they do findings, because the LPDC they won't just suspend a judge. Or even NJC. There have been a lot of petitions to the NJC because that's the proper body to discipline the judges. A lot of petitions have been written. They look at some of them, they see that this is just watery allegations with no concrete evidence. Do you get? Or I don't know if as journalists you've seen any judge where they bribe that you see, you have enough evidence and you see that the NJC has been quiet or something.
We see evidence through their lifestyle.
Well, I really do not understand. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Let's
what is the lifestyle? Do you mean that judges should not wear clothes or they should not look fine? No, I want to actually ask.
No, we just mean lifestyle.
We only these are people that have been conscripted. They don't even have a social life. I'm sure judges will hardly attend functions. All because Nigerians they just have that fear.
There was one that went to his alumni association and it became problem for him. And it became problem.
So do we even look at
problem? What sort of problem was that?
No, the judge was dragged. I don't want to mention him. He was seriously dragged. He went to his alumni association. I think in Ekiti State.
Why?
In those states, yes.
Do you understand? So even they, to an extent, we should even speak for them at times because they can't speak. They are going through a lot of things that they can't speak of.
But let's speak about the lawyers. You know, people say that this delayed in the dispensation of justice can be laid squarely on the doorsteps of lawyers. Many of them go to court unprepared. Many of them seek spurious adjournments, not being organized, you know, and because of money, peculiarly interest, especially about you know, when you go to court more on a case, you get more money. You know, that's why some of them drag cases seeking adjournments and all was not, so that people blame lawyers. You forget about the situation of the courts. We know that. We know the situation of the courts, but that lawyers too, just like policemen, police that go to court, they have their blame. You know, the three of them are to blame, but lawyers have a huge blame.
Let me quickly address that. You know, by God's grace, I've been opportunity to serve some seniors, and I can tell you, most successful seniors, at least those are associated with, don't even charge appearance fee. I think the appearance fee thing is just people that, with all due respect, that, you know,
coming up,
maybe not really coming up, but those that maybe God has really not, or is yet to help and all of that. So, but people that are close to will never tell you that they want to charge you for appearance. In fact, they want to do their case and conclude on time. Also, and I think it's one of the new innovations we have in our court system now. For instance, the new High Court rules has even made provision for virtual hearing. So even if you're unable to come to court, you can apply for virtual hearing. Your matter can be taken. If you are not in the country, your matter can be taken from wherever you are. Yes. So, in fact, another punitive measure the Supreme Court has even, introduced is now, because there's a new Supreme Court rule that has actually agreed time, within which some applications should be filed. And if you don't file out, if you file out of that, you cannot come by extension again. Those are some of the provisions. And now, Supreme Court has even gone further punitively to say that if you file, some ridiculous appeal, they will ask you to withdraw them. In fact, some, they are being graceful when they tell you to withdraw some of those petitions. But there are some that they will even give you, they will blast you damages and ask you to pay heavily, millions. They will tell you that for bringing this appeal, they are awarding so cost to be paid personally, not by client, to by the lawyer.
I've read one case like that.
So these are some of the innovations that that have been introduced to to address some of these issues that you said, that lawyers going all the way to Supreme Court and all that. Supreme Court they've been frowning towards such practice lately. They just look at you and look at your appeal and say, "Oh, guy, withdraw this thing now." If you don't withdraw, even some after withdrawing, they still award cost against you heavily.
Okay, let's listen to that before we come back. Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from? Please turn down the volume of your TV and then tell us your name and where you're calling from. This is KAFTAN TV. You're on to the Polity.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Hello?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk? We have lost the caller.
Let me ask you this question, point blank. I'm sure you two must have read it. Nigeria judiciary is corrupt. You cannot get justice in Nigeria. Justice is up for grab. It is whoever has more money that get justice in Nigeria. How do you react to that? I'm sure you must have read something like that.
It's a false narrative, trust me. False narrative. I can say this anyway, because as a legal practitioner myself, I'm into litigation. I have seen it firsthand. We've lost cases. In fact, I started my practice in the office of Oloanipekun & Co. One of the top law firms.
That's right.
We've lost cases and we've won cases. So the good thing about a lawyer is not just you winning cases. At times you lose some case and you just look at. But what helps you as a lawyer is when you're able to pick up the pieces, make constructive argument. There are some lawyers that they have a very good case, but the way they conduct their cases, and somebody comes, a very good other lawyer opponent, comes with technicality or just, argue their own case or present their own defense better than you do, then you lose. You say, the judiciary is up for sale. No, so at times the fault is always maybe on the part of the lawyers are not diligent in their in their own responsibility and duty. So I really do not agree with people that say judiciary is up for sale. No, ISB that never, because I have won cases for my clients. I have seen my bosses.
You've also lost cases.
A lot. I have a lot of senior lawyers that I revere, that I work closely with. and you know we burn candles. I'm not even taking for going like starting my law practice in Afebawala was a place to learn. You see your seniors are in the office till overnight, reading, studying, arguing, researching on points of law. So if those people now go to court and they win their case, some people will say, no, they have paid judiciary and all of that. No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay, let's listen to Mike from Benue State. Mike is our regular caller. Please go ahead. Good afternoon. How is Benue State?
Good afternoon, KAFTAN. Good afternoon, Nigeria. Good afternoon to Hunohashi and your other co-panelists.
How is Benue? It's peaceful, right? After those attacks, unfortunate attacks.
I think today Benue is a bit peaceful.
It's a bit peaceful.
To yesterday.
Okay, we're praying for the people of Benue State.
Tomorrow should be better.
Okay, amen. Please go ahead on this topic.
Yes, I really want. I just came in from work and I just on my telly. I know as I usually have to watch to KAFTAN because that's my favorite channel.
I know, you Mike. I appreciate it.
The Polity on the show, I was just like, wow. I never have been missing this. Maybe I have to take my television to the office so that I can watch KAFTAN.
Mike from Benue State, go ahead. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for always calling.
Just like the lawyer is saying there, the perception amongst Nigerians currently is the man with the highest money, the highest bidder wins his case. Because they look at it that once you, no matter how good your case is, the judiciary will look for technicality to knock out your case. Once you have the money, you have the financial muscle to pay. They will look for one or two technicalities somewhere to tell you are supposed to have done this, for you to not have done that. Therefore, you have lost the case. So I think the NPA and the judiciary, they have a serious work to do, because as far as Nigerians are concerned, I'm telling you from this, based on the experience on the street, and just like the other man on Black to say, people are beginning to lose interest in the judiciary. And I don't think it's a good one. I don't see that as a hope of the common man any longer, the hope of the common man any longer. They see now as a hope of the richest man, and which is not a good one. Thank you. God continue to bless Nigeria and bless KAFTAN.
Thank you. God bless you too, Mike from Benue State.
It's still the hope of the common man. Trust me. A lot of people are going to court to get justice. This is what I do for a living, and I can tell you for a fact that it is not true. Does Mubarak not have money? Why didn't he win at the Supreme Court? There are a lot of rich people that are even losing cases.
Let me tell you, this is a perception, and it has become like a fixated mindset.
But you need to also help us. Because some of us are saying,
and that's what we're doing.
You have to amplify it.
That's what we're doing here.
No, it is not
the wheel of progress is grinding very, very slowly in Nigeria. If you take a look at the National Assembly, the Senate in particular, there are so many, over 70% of those people out of the 109 senators there, about 70% of them have, anti-graft agencies chasing them for years. Some of them, I can mention their names if you want, because it's there in the open.
We know a lot of them.
There's a governor that served this 2 times, 28 billion naira allegation against him. He's a senator. He wanted to even take a shot at the number 3 seat. And, he has lawyers defending him, senior advocates defending him. And they know that a lot of monies from his state in the Northeast have been, stolen by him and his cronies. Because, talking about lifestyle again, lifestyle has changed. We have so many of them there that drove there. We have a governor that drove to become a chief of staff in one of the South Side states from Lagos, became a chief of staff. Today, he owns a Gulfstream jet that lands on zero visibility. So much money. That money is not justifiable. And they use lawyers, they use judges. Doesn't that worry you? It should worry you as a Nigerian, first of all.
Yes.
Because you are a Nigerian before you became a lawyer.
Absolutely. I agree with you completely. But however, where I would disagree is this. There are times that as lawyers, you are engaged to handle some cases.
You need evidence.
And where we are trained, right? Even if you are going to lose in court, the law as a lawyer, I have been trained that I have to take a defense. Even if to look at my husband, look at the case, review. So that's why most time we don't even promise our clients you are going to win. We'll just tell you we'll try our best. We'll look at the case, we'll look at, okay, why do you think let's now take the ball away from the rich people. Let's go back to criminals in detention. Why do you think some of them don't even have money to pay us? We do it pro bono. Do you understand? So I think we should even be applauded to that extent that some of us, some people do, some of these saying that are saying they're taking big men's. Do you know what they do underground? Do you know how many cases they take up at the trial court? Do you know how many criminal cases, how many people that have been sent to jail, that your police officers have, people that probably did know nothing about some cases, they just find themselves in detention. Some people have been there 5-10 years in detention with no trial. So some of these things, lawyers too will still come up, take some of these responsibilities. So if a big man now approach a lawyer to say, okay, I want to buy a land, it is not my duty as a lawyer to start saying, where did you see your money? Where did you make this money? What are you doing for a living? No.
It's not your duty.
It's not my duty. My duty is to just look at the property you want to sell.
Slice some of the money.
No. My job at that point is to do my due diligence. You pay my professional fee. I do your due diligence. Prepare the necessary documentation. We call it a wrap. I do not have that power as a lawyer to interrogate your source of income. I do not.
You know,
it's not your duty.
It is not.
People say that there are so many unbanked people in Nigeria. People that cannot afford the services, to bank with banks. So also, many people have cases they would have taken to court, but for the huge costs of litigation in Nigeria, to file an application in a high court now, you know what it means.
It depends.
Why is it high?
Okay, it depends on the application you are bringing, and I do not also agree that people don't have access to lawyers. There are a lot of MBA branches across the country. You have in far remote areas that you can even imagine. There are lawyers in villages, remote areas that you can actually engage. So at times, I think what we need to do is to do more of sensitization to people. There are a lot of pro bono organizations. There are a lot of law firms that take cases on pro bono. But you now have to act to just oppose to that. If a lawyer keeps taking pro bono and is not taking any, how will he run the firm? How will he run his family? Do you understand? So I think we should try and balance.
Is that also why lawyers don't encourage alternative dispute resolution? Because monies don't exchange hands in that aspect.
No. That's even where the money is.
Alternative dispute resolution.
Yes, because if you go for ADR, arbitration. In fact, arbitration is one of the hot cakes now. Most of arbitrators, you get paid just that your disputes get resolved faster. You don't have to go through the worrisome delays and all of those things in normal court setting. In fact, the court will even there are court that refers you to ADR. There are some agreements you make now. You insert a clause that this should be, instead of going to court, let's go to ADR and all of that. So for me, mediation, arbitration and all of that are means of ADR. So they can be explored, but they are not free. And to think that some of them are even expensive, depending again on the transaction or on the dispute involved. There are some transaction or dispute that can be resolved at a very amount of money. There are some arbitrators that will do some cases for free. Like I said, so it's not just the fact that lawyers want to make. No, lawyers are making sacrifices. But lawyers, you need to understand that lawyers are humans too.
Which is more lucrative to the lawyer, going to court
or ADR,
or just appending signature to contracts.
Again, it's preference. We have, like our own law now, we have solicitors and barristers. So unlike UK, when you can just specialize, we are doing the same thing. But some people have said, no, they just want to be in the solicitor. Like people you have in maybe commercial law firms, they don't go to court. They just do transactions. They call it advisory transactions. Smooth money. That's some people are saying that arbitration, they want to go into litigation. So they want to go to court. So that's also making their money. So it's just a matter of interest.
Where is the charge and bill lawyers?
There's nothing like charge and bill. There's nothing with charge and bill.
You know why you ask me? I know. We have to correct flow. Sharp as we went down.
It's quite unfortunate for some of our colleagues that are caught in that. But trust me, there's really no dignity in that. There's no dignity. I'm not sure I've seen any here in Abuja, my years of practice. Maybe because I really don't hang around the culture.
Now, as we wind down, you are a young man, you are a young Nigerian, and you are also, I must confess, you are a brilliant lawyer. And the demographic that is attracted to the Jackpot syndrome is the young people where you belong, as your own constituency. I have a family friend, 25 years post law school graduation, that's been practicing, but she decided to leave last year August for America. You know what she's doing there? Lawyer, she's a nanny, and she's earning 100 times what she was earning here. She went there in August, and the money she sent, her husband and 4 kids, the Christmas they've never had, a lavish Christmas like the one of last year. But I know from the way you're talking, you would never think of leaving Nigeria for anything.
I have my practice here. Oh, that as an aside. So again, a lot of people become lawyers not because they want to be lawyers. Let's note that. Some people don't have this. They don't have the flair for being lawyer. Some people can just. I have friends too that came to law because their parents are lawyers and they want them to become lawyers. So after the law school, they just does their wig and gown and give it to their parents. And some of them are in entertainment world. They are doing well.
Just like false.
A lot of them, a lot. Timi Agbaje is my classmate. In fact, he made a first class in law school. He's doing well, excellently well in media entertainment. Bro Bush was my classmate too. They're doing well, and I have a lot of them like that. So, however, if I have the opportunity to go outside the country, it's just for me to go and take 1 or 2 more courses and come back. Like your family member now. I would have thought if she was interested in law, just go there, do New York exam, call to the New York bar. She will make times 10 of what she's earning as a nanny. She
has gained admission to study nursing for 2 years.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
So maybe she doesn't have a flair for law. Because for me, I would have advised, or if she had gone to do law in New York, being called to New York bar,
she's in Houston, Texas.
Or Texas bar. At the end of the day, you will earn way more. American lawyers are earning way more than we are earning. But Nigeria is not bad.
But Nigerians cannot go there and practice.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. You take the exams and you get qualified. In fact, you will now be DTAH qualified. So in fact, you are going to be hot cake there because you have our own experience, the jurisdiction experience there in Nigeria. So if they have transactions, cross-border transactions, you are useful to them. So you get more jobs. And that's why you see most young, I have a lot of people in America practicing lawyers, and they are doing exceedingly well because they have that cross, jurisdiction experience.
But there are still so many unemployed lawyers in the country today. If you, as a senior lawyer now, let me just in quote, what advice will you give those? Are there some things that the rest of you that have been practicing are saying that they are not exposed to? How
as a follow-up, we are still churning out thousands every year from various universities.
Yes,
and they
are not even able to go to law schools. They are not able to.
So that for me, right? If I was once like that, I was like, why are we having lawyers? And someone told me, do you know we have over 200 million Nigerians? And we have less than 200,000 lawyers. So if you are going to even, on the ratio, we don't have enough lawyers yet. If you are going to be objective, we don't have enough lawyers yet to match up with that, that population, that's over 200 million population. So having more lawyers is actually not the problem, but what you do with them, how is the system set up, to favor them. And again, you see, most lawyers when they graduate, they don't, get to do privilege. Like I told you, I was in affair. I learned the rope. I've served some people, some senior lawyers that have shown us the way. But so because litigation is just not something you just wake up one morning and you're doing. You have to be consistent. You have to pay your dues, the sacrifices. You have to stay up at times. You go late, or you go home late. Like I'm used to leaving the office 4-5 a.m. because that's what I was trained. That was how I was trained. You get back to the office before 8 o'clock. You have resumed. You go the circle again and all of that. Do you understand? So it's something you have to, it's a due you have to pay. But most young lawyers now, the days of social media, and a lot of people are making money on social media too. I have colleagues on Twitter that are making good briefs on Twitter, and all of that. So it's just how you're able to think out of the box. The market is a very big market, and by the grace of God too, you have to be prayerful that God should just help you, because it's only God that can help you. The market is saturated, a lot of lawyers out there looking for, and it's interesting that most groups that I even get are given by my colleagues, lawyers. Just like that, they have this group, they cannot do it, but they believe you have the competence and expertise to do it. So what I advise most of my juniors is just build yourself, be known for something. Like for instance, now most of my friends, they have matrimonial courses like divorce cases. They throw it to me because it's one of my special field, like something I love doing. And they even call I teach it regularly. I also have some other areas I'm good at, sports law. I'm into sport law and all of that. But I just try to build myself and expertise in something that when you need somebody in this field, you can always ring me, you can always dial me, you know. And I do social media a lot too, and I just want to
wait, you touch one area, divorce.
Yes, matrimonial causes.
Yes. Are you not worried that there are increasing cases of divorce?
Of course, you should be worried.
No, never worried.
No. From your experience in the courts,
yes, sir.
What are some of the causes of divorce, especially among young couples, that should be avoided?
So, let me start with due respect. Some of you, our parents, are the problems. Because when a child, yes, most of you the parents, you are actually the problem. A child of 22, 23 years old finish university. The next thing is, when are you getting married? When are you going to start having children? When are you going to pressure, unnecessary pressure? You are not even settled your child. Like, okay, how much are you making? You know, can you even cater for yourself before catering for another lady? That was one aside. Two, I also feel like a lot of people are selfish nowadays. There is no place of, you know, like most of our own parents, what we learned from them, most people are not ready to go through that route of being enduring, you know, try to understand, you know, try not to be selfish. Like, I know my parents growing up, there are a lot of sacrifices they make, but now people don't have time, at least with the social media madness too. Like, okay, no, if your husband does this, walk away. If your wife does this, walk away. So a lot of social media influencing has also been a cause of these things. Then also, some people also want to marry for convenience. Some ladies just want to marry for money. They just want Odogu that will take care of them. And Odogu is maybe involved with another man, because there are cases like that where they are alleging that the man is homosexual. And you know, some females, some of our ladies, they know. Because of the money, you're like, okay, let me just be okay. But it gets to a time they are no longer comfortable, and the man is saying, I don't want to have a child, and the lady is saying that I'm going to my 40s, I should have even be done, you know, giving birth, I should be raising kids. So those are some of the issues. There are some that they just want to travel. You just do arranging marriage. You just to travel to Jakba. After you Jakba, you know, you now come back to do divorce because you are never in love in the first place. So there are so many things that causes matrimonial causes actions, you know, divorce cases. There are a lot. Then there are places of abuse too.
How bad is that?
Is very bad, and some of them are traceable to influence of drugs too. You know, some guys are into drugs, some ladies are into drugs, some of them even got married or they met each other from when they were doing drugs together. So the abuse now, you know, increases, and at the end of the day, you can't curtail them again. So it's really messed up.
Okay, let me ask you this. We are almost done. I've heard someone who say the legal profession is top heavy. Top heavy, you know what he meant was that there are names that are known, when it comes to litigation, and their clients are high-profile partisan politicians, and their harvest period is during elections and the results of elections, and there are names that are dominant. You hear the Oloanipekuns, you hear the Abakobas, you hear the Mike Ezokobes. I know you have the zeal to get to the zenith of your career. Are people worried? Are lawyers worried that these people have saturated this place and it is top heavy? We can't get there because they have perpetuated themselves, even though they are old, and they are making lots of money. I know that people like former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has his own lawyers. Whenever he wants to go to court, even to the Supreme Court, it is that same person. Are your colleagues worried? But it's top heavy.
Never worried, because
nobody's worried.
The market is, like I said, is very big enough. You have people like Afebawala, he doesn't go to court again. Baba is 96. But he has people that are now coming up. He has
the chamber is on and running.
So in fact, before Baba's time, we have people like F.R. Williams. We have a lot of them that they've aged their mark, and but now we have new people coming out, and now recently we started having young lawyers becoming senior advocates below the age of 40, now 40. So their own tenure, their generation will pass, another generation will pass. So for me, nobody is disturbing each other. When they leave, some other people, by the time it comes, when people see that you have value.
And those politicians that are their clients will also leave.
like I was saying, I was joking with my friend recently. I said, see, our own colleagues now, it will get to that point where some of them will be the one at the end of affairs, that will be the one governor. So it is we, their own guys, that will also get there to do their cases for them. So you don't need to be.
But there will always be cases.
You can't be desperate. When your time comes, you are going to get it.
Final question for me. FRA Williams.
Yes,
we had the opportunity of seeing his gown and wig. It was started. And he said that was the pride in those days, that if your gown is started, it shows that how deep your age in the legal profession, that you're a legend in your own gown, especially the gown of you nowadays lawyers. It's always neat.
Yes.
Neat.
So one thing you need to understand now, that the world has evolved. The way the world was then is not what it is now. Now appearance, with an appearance, you can determine how much you can pay a lawyer. There's a way a lawyer dresses that, I cannot pay this guy more than 100,000, 50,000. So in fact, I have senior advocates in court. If you look at their wig, if you look at you will see that these are wigs, clean wigs from UK. In fact, when I was serving, my principal then traveled for like just 2 days and came back with bibs for all of us. And it was a rule in my office that your bibs, your collarette and your collar, your bib rather, has to be starched, not just iron. Starched, that's to be standing. So but most time when we get to court, everybody knows that this person is from social office and all of that. So it has to be, you have to be neat, because my principal can call you that we have a meeting. So if you are not neatly dressed, you can't go with him.
Okay.
As a copper, I was exposed, like I said, I was exposed to practice. I was meeting, high profile clients, and all of that. So
well, thank you, Adekunle. Right?
Yes,
Oloanipekun. Thank you for doing justice to this conversation. I must confess that you are a brilliant lawyer, and you have you attain your zenith. And you are an
from the best.
Thank you.
You are an interviewer's delight. I thank you so much profoundly for finding time to come to the Polity, and we hope that when next we invite you, you're going to come.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Segun Ojelade.
Wow.
My colleague, thank God for joining me this afternoon.
Thank God.
Well, viewers, we thank you so much for being there. It's your show. Thank you. See you next time. Bye-bye.